training for the year. And Happy New Year to everyone. And I wish you all the best for the year 2024. Today we are doing a cabbage varietal trial training as well as flood irrigation, as you can see behind us here. And your facilitator will be Eric, and he's pretty much well versed in the area. So ask all of your questions. Ask all the questions to him. Take your notes, and if you are a cabbage farmer, you may learn something that you're probably doing wrong or something you can do to improve. And if you're new to it, of course, you would be learning how to grow cabbage successfully. And thank you again for coming, and may this be a very interactive session, and enjoy. Eric?
Thank you guys for coming. I believe some of you have already met me and some of you have not. My name is Eric, and I'm the production specialist in the 7 Crops project in the Taiwan Technical Mission. And this project is a cooperation between the Taiwanese and the Ministry of Agriculture. So all the extension officers here are actually our shareholders in the projects. And I want to be honest with you, today the cabbage is actually past due because of the rain. We wanted to have it 2 weeks ago, but we couldn't have it. But there are still some good cabbage. I would like to share the characteristics and also the flood irrigation demonstration. It's today we mainly focus on the demonstration rather than the cultivation management. But I will try to talk a little bit about it. But if you have further questions, you could always ask me. And then, as a token, I'm always really thankful that when farmers come here to learn new technology, it's not necessary to be correct, but it's something new for you. You can use it, you can utilize it in your farm, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And Kamer said something, maybe you learned something wrong. I wouldn't say that. Even she was really kind trying to explain that. I wouldn't say there is a wrong way to plant something. It's just a different way. But these differences can it's the reason why you don't have a good production. For example, the gentleman there, he's not wrong. He just said he thought the cabbage don't require much water, which is actually very different from what we know. Actually, cabbage requires a lot of water, more than you think. That's why we can have a bigger cabbage. You see, we can actually have a big cabbage here in St. Lucia. When you go to the supermarket, it doesn't make any sense. The cabbage is listed as top 10, top 7 most imported crop in St. Lucia. St. Lucia is a good place. We have higher mountain, day wash, one woodland. You can Babano, you can have a good cabbage there, right? And to thank you, if you listen until the end of the training, you're gonna receive like around 10 grams of cabbage seed, which is around 2,000 seed. So you can give it a try. Yeah, I see Mom Daisy not in there.
Yeah.
Happy. You want 2 packets?
Yeah,
No, each person is 1 packet.
It's a bit extra.
Are you a farmer specialized in cabbage?
Yeah, I do cabbage, yes.
That's not true.
I do cabbage.
I know you.
You haven't seen it.
Sababa.
You haven't been on there for a while.
I know you grow moulon, not cabbage. Yeah. Okay. Starting from the condition of what is the best condition for cabbage to grow. Unfortunately, St. Lucia is not a good place for cabbage to grow. Not year round. Actually, in flat area like here, we only have 1 season to grow. So don't try. It's gonna just cost you time and money. Don't try the cabbage. My recommendation is not to try the cabbage from April to October, because it's too hot, it's too much rain. Don't do it in a flat area. If you want to do it in a flat area, do this season around November, December, sow the seeds, and then you can harvest now. That's because cabbage really loves the temperature from 15 degrees to 25. Just think, Do you have this kind of weather here in St. Lucia? Besides, except for this season, this time of the season, 15 to 25. Most of the time it's 30 to 32 in St. Lucia. But now you can have a little bit 25, 26 in the morning and at night, which is good for cabbage. That's why you can have a strong cabbage. But if you're coming from a higher altitude, for example, Babonneau, Dewash, and a little bit higher up, you can reach a little bit 26, 27, you can try it. Remember the temperature. I know you know your farm the best, more than I do. So remember this temperature from 15 to 25, it rubs very beautiful. You have a better production. Temperature 15 to 25. When it's 30, you barely have. It doesn't bear at all. It doesn't rub compact well. Okay, so starting from the seedling stage, how do you who is the cabbage farmer here? Raise your hand. Only answer?
Oh, yeah. Everyone but local cabbage farmers.
That's why we
Okay.
have people who come in summer.
Madam, how do you sow your seed? Do you sow it in a tray or do you sow it on the ground?
Well, I do both.
You do both. Very good. Because I know most of the farmers here sow the cabbage seed in the tray.
Correct.
But it's correct to do because you have a better survival rate. But not everybody is as rich as you are. I'm just kidding. Because you require peat moss, you require trays to sow the seeds in
That's
the
right.
tray. But you have a better survival rate in the seedling. But there's a techniques I would like to share with you. You can actually have a small piece of the ground. For example, just like 1/3 of this ground. You have your seed. You can spray soil in it on that small area, or you can make ridges. For example, just a little bit here. Let's say 5 steps. This area, you make a ridges, and then you sow the seeds. And then of course you have to water it. And then after 3 days, when it sprouts, you have to thin it, because when you spray, sometimes it's not the density is not even. So you have to thin it out, which means it's a loss of the seeds. And then after the 2 primary, I wouldn't say that. I would say, okay, you sow the seeds, you watered it. After 3 days, find some dry grass and put it on the top of it. So in case some insect come and dig it out, or some
After you sow it?
the rain. After you sow it, 3 days. After 3 days, you sowing it. You can put the dry grass on the top of it, and then it can keep the moisture, so it can germinate better. Secondly, the birds will not come and dig it out. And then you water it, and then you will have the 3 days, 4 days, and I would say that time you have the seed sprout, and then you have to thin it out. And then because all the farmers supposed to know the how do you call that, cotyledon? Cotyledon is oval, right? The shape is like this. And then the primary, how does it look like? It's different shape, right? And maybe we don't have a proper shape for it, but it's different shape. So when it's 2 primary shape, you have to thin it again. Thin it again for 2 inches. So each plant will be around 2 inches apart. 2 inches apart. And then the rest you kind of have to throw it away. And then after it's 4 or 5 primary leaves, you can actually transplant it on the beds. This is a technique for farmers that don't have much resources. When I was in Southeast Asia, I was trying to promote the tray and the peat moss and sow the seeds in the tray. But most of the farmers are really, really poor. They don't have the sources, so they sow the seeds on the ground, and then they actually have really pretty good results. Okay? After you transplanting, okay, you might see this happening on your farm. You have like so many little one around. You're supposed to just have one. It's not because of it's a branch. It's actually not a branch. It's not like watermelon. You have larger branch. tomato with larger branch. No, this is called rosette. Rosette is something when it's too dry. When you face drought in the early stage of the seedling, when you transplant, when it's too dry, you don't have enough water, they think, oh, it's time for me to go flowering, to bolting, because I need to generate, I need to breed my next generation, because it's not the best environment for it to grow, vegetative growth. So it went straight to the propagative growth, propagation growth. So this is called rosette, but you can also think it's like a clustering. It happens when you don't have enough water. Okay, so this is very important. You need enough water for it to prevent this from happening. And then I wouldn't talk so much about disease and pest, but water, because water is it's a key factor in St. Lucia. I wouldn't blame the diamondback moth. The diamondback moth is a problem, but I really sincerely don't think it's the main problem. The main problem is that farmers don't have enough water for their cabbage. Really don't have enough water. A lot of farmers use drip line. The drip line is for delicate crops. Cherry tomatoes, watermelon, cantaloupe. When you want to make it really sweet or delicate, you have to control the water content. You don't want it too much water, so you control it with the drip line. But for cabbage, when it's wrapping, you need a lot of water. Remember, you must need a lot of water. Just break it. This is water. This is water. It contains of water so much. So when you don't have enough water, it doesn't compact well. You must remember that. So which lead to another thing that I would like to introduce, the flood irrigation. The flood irrigation is important because it can provide enough water for the cabbage. In the same time, you can save a lot of water bill. The drip line, people think, I will just turn it on for the whole afternoon, but sometimes because of the pressure, sometimes because of the whatever reason, you kind of lose money, and then you have to open it for a long time. Fuel is, you have to spend money on fuel as well. So flood irrigation, like Mr. Mondesi said, he said it doesn't look nice. That's correct, because it has a lot of weeds. Because you flood it, of course the weeds come out, but it saves you a lot of water bill and a lot of time. For example, for cabbage, you probably have to maximum to flood it 3 times for the whole cycle. The first is to flood it before you transplant. 1 day before you flood it, the whole bed, and then you transplant it the next day. You don't, of course you water it, use the watering can to water it to provide enough water. And then you wait for 2 weeks. You literally don't have to water besides the water that you flood it, when you flood it. And then when it's wrapping, you flood it again. When you know, oh, it's about to wrap, when you see it, you flood it again. You flood it in another 2 weeks, and it will have enough water for it. Because how do you know if it's enough water? The water, you have to see on the top of the bed, it's wet. Put your finger in to see if it's wet, and then that means it's enough water. So next time, maybe the second time you don't think it's enough water, it's still wrapping, you flood it another time, and 3 times only. When you about now, it's not the best time. You don't even have to flood it now, because when you are harvesting, you don't require that much water anymore, and water can cause disease and pests. So of course flood irrigation has its cons, that the disease they carry by the water can spread easily, but which means you have to spray a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot more often, but often. Who planted cabbage organic here? I don't think it's easy to do that. I always have these kind of things to share I know here you don't do radish. Not a lot of people, farmers grow.
Radish.
You do radish? Okay, so when you do it, when we are in Taiwan, we go to the market and we saw this beautiful radish, and I know you use chemicals. Yeah, because the organic one must look terrible. Must look terrible. We have some farmers there backing me up. When you go there, our radish have a lot of holes. That's organic. Because these kind of things, they are the same family. So a lot of caterpillar will come. They will eat it for sure when it's organic. But it's just the time that you have to make a decision. Do you want to keep it organic and then maybe have a fewer production, or you want to spread it as a practice and then have a higher production? One question here: do the buyers pay you more when it's organic? No. Then why do you have to do it organic?
Because it's healthier.
Because it's healthy, but you can eat it yourself. You can make some slot in just a small slot for you. We are farmers. Farmers are trying to make money. And if using chemical is so deadly, most of the people is dead now. They are not here. As long as you can follow the procedure and the instruction on the chemical bottle, telling you don't spread it 10 days before harvesting, it's okay. What is organic? Can somebody? We are kind of jumping the topic, but since we are talking about it, cabbage, it's very difficult to have an organic cabbage. But what is organic? Who answer the question can have 2 packs of seed.
Chemical free.
Are you cheating our? That's
I want to pack. I can make 2 pack.
Let me ask you, but there's different places you could plant cabbage and you could plant organic.
Yes, share with me, please. Share with everybody.
Well, this is like down south where they doesn't have much farms and stuff like that.
Down south where? I know everywhere.
Greece.
Oh, okay. I just passed there the other day.
Yeah, because I plant cabbage there and I didn't have to spray.
You don't have to spray, and you don't have any caterpillar issue.
No caterpillar.
No caterpillar issue. Okay. 500. Good amount. Good amount. I will go back to that. Yes, sir.
That was the rainy season.
That's the first time you planted.
Yeah, that's the first time.
Plant again.
So this gentleman here said he do it organically in Grace.
He tried once.
He tried once, and then this gentleman said both of them are getting 2 packs. He, as I promised, he said using manual. But let me ask you something. Sorry. Let me ask you something. How do you know that the grass the cow eats doesn't contain
I
any?
was about to say that.
How do you know? How do you know the grass?
Top of you, the farm on top of you.
The river.
Yes, the river.
I
I was in seed production. I was in seed production. Do you know how much chemical we use to provide a very beautiful seed to you? Tons. So when you are using a seed that is produced by using a lot of chemicals, do you consider the thing that you grow out from the seeds is organic? No. But there is actually organic product. Why? Because every buyers or there is a standard has a organic I would say standard. As long as you follow the instruction from the buyer saying, okay, you can only use twice of the chemicals during the whole cycle, there will be some people coming to examine, or you don't use it 10 days before the harvesting, it can be considered organic as long as it follow the instructions of the standard. So there is organic product, but is there a real organic thing? For me, no. There is no organic thing. Yeah, you don't know how much things in the soil, and then the rain comes down with a lot of sulfur and Sahara dust, and some camel poop in the Sahara dust. Yeah. So you don't know. Now everything is connected somehow. So spray it. Try to spread it, but of course not overusing it. And this season, why I recommend you, not just because of the temperature, but also the pest is a little less, because they don't breed during this season. It's too cold. They don't want to breed. So when it's spring and when it's about to get rainy, you have a lot of diamond back moths because it's the best time for them to breed. And just imagine you have the pest, you have the rain, the whole year is round, or the whole month. How do you produce cabbage? So once again, I would really recommend you to plant cabbage during this season, and we have tried out these two varieties. I think you could give it a try. This one is doing a little bit better than the bright top because the rosette problem is a little bit less. Now it's not the best performance because it's already passed. But if you were here 2 weeks ago, the performance was just amazing. But this is rosette. This happen more on bright top. So I'm giving you some autumn today. There is another variety we are going to try. It's called Taichung number 2. That variety, I think St. Vincent has tried out during the rainy season, and he actually did pretty well. But these two varieties, I wouldn't recommend you to do it on the rainy season, during the rainy season. But after trying out, we are going to give some seeds away, the Taichung number 2. Maybe one day we can produce cabbage in a flat area in St. Lucia. Let's work on it together. I'm tired of seeing all the imported cabbage in Massey stores. But we can produce cabbage here. Try to plant it. Now I think it's still a good time. Now it's just very early, you can have another set. Before you have it, before it comes to rainy season, you can have another set. Any questions? Any questions? And the red cabbage, not even mention the red cabbage. I forget to mention that. You can never plant the red cabbage during rainy season and when it's hot. Never. If you succeed, tell me. I'll go to your farm.
Honestly, the red cabbage is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Very. I've tried it a number of times
Yes.
and then I just get it.
And this is the best you can get. You don't get a bigger one. And do they pay more on the red cabbage? Yeah. No? I believe they pay more.
No, it's more.
I think
It's
they
more.
pay more.
It's more.
How about under greenhouse, Eric? Under greenhouse.
I buy it at
Under
Massey all the
greenhouse,
time. It's more money.
It's doable.
Okay.
It's doable, but it's too hot. Yeah. So it's a kind of, I wouldn't recommend to do it. The only thing
You have a
that
regulated
now I think
greenhouse where you could
some,
regulate
I think
the
Ishma
temperature.
or the what's your name again? Shinaz mentioned to me that, or what about the rain? Now since the climate has changed a lot, even now during this season that is best for the cabbage, you face a lot of rains. That's the only time that you can think of. That's when the greenhouse is coming to your mind. When it's good weather and it's raining, but the greenhouse increase the temperature in it as well. So you have to really think. I would say the best place is to go all the way to day wash probably and use the greenhouse. Yeah, because day wash could be a little bit too cold for the cabbage, but it's good. So the greenhouse can keep the warmth inside keep the warmth inside, and then provide the temperature it needs. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Yes.
So if I have a sandy soil, how do I flood?
The sandy soil, that's a really good question over there. The clay soil is the best for flood irrigation. But sandy doesn't mean that you cannot do it. You just have to box it very well. Try to do a small, because you don't know how much the water leak if your farm is sandy. So make a small area and then put the water in, like a small pool, to try it out first to see if it's good for flood irrigation. So to see, you have this amount of water, how long it's gone. And then after 3 days, if it's still wet, try it out first. I really strongly recommend the flood irrigation in St. Lucia. It saves a lot of water bill and then the inputs that you have to spend on. We are going to have another trial for the Chinese cabbage, Taiwanese cabbage. There, but with 5 varieties.
What's the best type of soil to produce cabbage in?
Clay.
Clay.
Mixed. Yeah, but clay, more like to clay. And if you have a dark soil, that's a very good soil for cabbage as well. Dark soil.
Okay.
Yeah.
But certain parts of the island, cabbage cannot grow down. The place is very high.
Yeah, Also,
This is like marking.
speaking Maki,
Yeah, marking. We cannot contact with the soil.
a lot of places you can't actually plant a cabbage because of the temperature as well and the pest. This year I'm importing something called the sex pheromones trap that I will choose from one of you. Raise your hand if you consider your farm having a lot of diamondback moth problem. Okay, so contact your extension officer. I think it's around April. I'm going to receive these sex pheromone traps. We can have a tryout, and then we will have the trap around the farm to see